Hello everyone and welcome to our channel. We are here today in Barcelona in Loyal Guru's offices with two of the best loyalty leaders worldwide, Borja Sanfeliu and Philip Shelper. They have been working for more than 10 years with brands like Mango, Decathlon, McDonald's, Visa, Cencosud, Nespresso, with a very successful results. They are here today to share with us insights about trends, about mistakes, about challenge, about the future of loyalty. So happy to have you here and let's go. Phil, Borja, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here today to talk about loyalty. Let me go direct to the point. Why should a brand invest in a loyalty program?
That's a very good question. We typically work with brands to achieve 6 objectives with the loyalty program. So helping them to acquire new customers, stimulating their customers to spend more, whether that's cross-sell, upsell, increasing basket size, spending more often, boosting share of wallet, non-transactional engagement, so getting them to engage with the brand even when they're not spending money. Retention is obviously a big one. Advocacy, turning your customers into promoters, and of course collecting and utilizing data in order to make their experience more personalized and relevant and meaningful to them.
Something to add?
No, I think it's a great summary. We definitely agree with everything, and I can add nothing on top.
So generally brands win more money with loyalty programs.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lot of great loyalty programs out there. There's also a lot that aren't very good. So the ability for a brand to deliver to all of those objectives depends on how well the program is designed and how well they're executing it. So they need to make sure they get it right.
And this point, we have a lot of loyalty programs. No? Customers are surrounded about loyalty programs.
Yeah.
How to be relevant? What can brands do different to be relevant?
I think it's a matter also of iteration. I think that the loyalty is a journey. It's not like a one-off project. And definitely having a clear objective, just putting the resources to do that and iterate flexibility, I think probably there it's a big part of the answer.
Yeah, I would agree. Relevancy is something that a lot of loyalty programs are missing, which is not helping them to drive that engagement with their customers. The other thing that we're seeing is with the saturation in loyalty programs in certain markets, consumers are becoming very particular about which programs they will and won't engage with, and they're demanding to be stimulating and interesting and differentiated. They want it to really excite them. They want it to grab hold of them. And that's where a lot of loyalty programs are falling short. So we're working with our clients to build out X factor elements within that program that really are representative of the brand and get people excited and wanting to know more about the program.
Thank you very much. You have been working in loyalty programs worldwide for more than 10 years. I'm going to ask you, what is the big mistake that brands do? What's the big mistake that you see more commonly in these loyalty programs?
Yeah, a few big mistakes. The first one is thinking that they know how to design and implement a loyalty program, even though people within their business might not have a lot of experience. People, I think, because they've joined a program and engaged with it, they feel it would be easy to design, but doing a loyalty program well is incredibly complicated. It requires a great deal of sophistication. So brands need to make sure that they engage the right level of expertise to do it properly. The second one, and probably the biggest mistake, is companies just not providing enough value for members. So value is what drives loyalty program engagement. And if companies aren't providing that value, then consumers will turn off very quickly. The third mistake is replicating their competitors. So they'll look at what their competitors are doing, they're like, well, let's do that, but we'll do it a bit better. And so you end up with a situation in industries where everyone's doing the same thing, so doing something very differentiated. is important in order to make that program really compelling for consumers and help it stand out from that crowded field.
And what about technology? What is the mistake on the technology part that you've seen the most?
I think that, as Phil is saying, that is very complex. We also think that it should be flexible. Mm-hmm. And technology in the end is an enabler or an stopper. If you just don't put the pieces in the right place, you're not going to be able to deliver in the good timing. And timing is very, very important. Actually, in a market that is evolving so fast, maybe you think something, but if you are going to deliver in 2 years' time, that's not the right timing. Definitely technology, I think that time to market, trying to be live in 3 months should be something that should be at the core of these kind of projects once the definition is done.
Yeah, I'd agree. Technology is definitely the single biggest blocker to getting a loyalty program up and running. So companies need to make the right decision about the technology. They need to get it implemented well and ensure that it's got that flexibility to enable them to really evolve the program over time. And that's where most companies get stuck.
Okay, let's talk now about the future.
Uh-huh.
Who are the front runners in loyalty?
From my perspective, if you want to look at a particular industry, I actually think supermarket is probably doing it better than most. They have a lot of things going for them. They've got regular, fairly high transaction frequency and basket size. They are able to collect a lot of data about their customers in terms of what they're purchasing. They're able to tap suppliers to help fund a lot of the incremental value that is provided to customers. They're also one of the early users of AI in loyalty programs as well, particularly from a marketing perspective, so that they can deliver that really good relevancy as well. So they're delivering across everything: relevant communications, offers and experiences, really good compelling value to a customer base who is transacting with them on a fairly frequent basis. Exceptional reporting and analytics so that they really understand their customers, and then the ability to build out a coalition of partners to provide members with other ways that they can get value for shopping outside of the supermarket ecosystem. So we look at supermarkets a lot. They've really evolved very rapidly and do some quite edgy, innovative things.
You work with a lot of supermarkets, so do you think the same?
We were born definitely in supermarkets, as they had a lot of data, and totally agree with what you're saying. They are front runners. I think that right now it's a trend, loyalty. Many companies know they're seeing that to acquire, engage, retain customers, they need customer data. So in the end, it's like, hey, let's try to see, what the rest have done, and let's put that real quick, let's say running. So yeah, definitely, we were born with that. We've done like the hard way, let's say, because there's a lot of data, and definitely for us, like moving into new industries, it's it's something that we're looking definitely into.
And if we look to the future, we have to talk about artificial intelligence. How AI is going to change the game in loyalty?
Yeah.
For us, it's definitely a game changer. I think that whenever you're thinking in millions of customers, I see myself, let's say, in a football stadium. You need to talk to thousands of customers. You definitely need a platform, but it's not only a platform. The platform is the pipe, but you also need the content where it's like definitely flowing inside, and AI is going to be a game changer. We definitely need AI to just make all, let's say, the operation, the factory of all this content, how you just plug what you want to do, how you control what you want to do, how you iterate, and definitely it's what we're putting on top of our products.
Yeah, I think the great thing about the loyalty industry is it's one of the early adopters of AI. So some of the big brands have been using AI for over a decade already, which means that a lot of the use cases for it across marketing, across unique instances of digital experiences, security and fraud monitoring, all those types of things are already well established. What we're seeing now is AI access becoming a lot more affordable through the rise of GPTs. So really, the obvious opportunity for most companies is to replicate what the big brands have already been doing within their own business in order to better deliver on customer expectations.
Okay, and let me introduce something about the future. I already wrote your book. And what about crypto? This is going to be a different reward style. This is something that we will see in the next years. What do you think?
Yeah, so I'm a big crypto fan. I've been involved in crypto since 2017 and even wrote a book about it. It's a very, very interesting space. Probably the most interesting thing for me is that with Donald Trump coming in as president again in the US, he's got a very pro-crypto agenda, which I think will kick off a new wave of innovation in this space. I think for us, blockchain itself has been proven to be a very good security layer in processing transactions within loyalty programs, and there's a number of brands around the world who are already using it, and we feel that that's going to increase. Crypto itself, it is very interesting, but it can also be challenging to make it work. The thing that we love about it is the idea of earning a loyalty currency that can increase and decrease in value is really exciting. That's always excited me.
It's a gamification in itself.
Right, but what we have seen, the obvious flaw in that is that when it does decrease, it really wipes out customer engagement because they see all the value that they had accumulated disappear before their eyes. So I think there's still a lot of strategizing to be done there in terms of how to make that work. NFTs obviously had a big bubble 2020 to 2022. So we think it's going to be a while before they come back in force. The metaverse, I think, has just not really gone anywhere. But the great thing about the blockchain industry is there's so much money constantly flowing into it, really crazy amounts of innovation. So we're continually excited about what might be possible there.
Promising. It seems promising. Let's be prepared. Your platform.
It's an exciting moment for us. I definitely agree.
Yeah. Okay, let me go back to the present, from cryptos to the present again. And let me ask you about the loyalty mechanics, more typical, and what's your opinion on the effectiveness? Tiers. It's always useful to implement tiers, yes or no? What's your opinion?
We have the expert here by my side, but we've seen tiers, and I mean, probably it has to do with the business, but probably the less frequency businesses should use tiers. For me, it's not a matter of tiers, personalized offers, personalized rules, personalized emails. It's probably a matter of how you just build the whole ecosystem. And tiers definitely can be a great ingredient, definitely for these, let's say, low frequency businesses.
Yeah, we find tiers work best where there's a Pareto dynamic within the customer base, so the 80-20 rule, where you've got a small percentage of your base accounting for quite a large percentage of revenue, so that then you can have that pyramid structure where those higher value customers can float to the top and they can be recognized and rewarded. But you need to have really, really compelling rewards in order to make it worthwhile, because people, to get to those top tiers, need to implement a strategy to move their way up, what we call striving behavior. And they're only going to do that if the prize that they get at the top is really exciting for them. Most companies don't have the access to that rewards range to be able to do that at scale. And then you've got other industries like telecommunications, utilities, insurance, where you don't really have that Pareto effect and it's pretty flat, and tiers just don't tend to work in that sort of approach at all.
Clear. Yeah. Okay, second typical topic, gamification. Gamification really drives ROI, or it's a buzz? What's your opinion?
Yeah, so let's start with the definition of gamification, which is applying game mechanics across a non-game setting. All right, so what that means is you've got a fairly boring, mundane task, and you turn it into a game in order to make it more interesting. So really, you could argue that all loyalty programs are gamification. So whether you're using points or tiers or badges or leaderboards or all the other wide variety of different mechanics, it's all about making that experience in engaging with the brand more fun. Now, the problem that we have is that most loyalty programs are so boring. And so we're talking a lot with our clients and anyone who'll listen about make your program fun, because that's what people want. They want it to be interesting and stimulating. And so if you go back to the roots of gamification, that's what it's really saying is make this day-to-day interaction genuinely fun and rewarding and interesting. And people want to repeat that experience because it's given them a buzz.
Okay.
Yeah.
My favorite. Be ready, Borja, this is for you.
Wow.
Apps or wallet or anything. It's really necessary always an app to succeed in a loyalty program?
Okay, it's a very interesting question for us. For me, definitely apps or wallet. It's very important when it comes to digitalization. For example, in supermarkets, you need a digital audience. The e-com is still very small, so the app it's super important to open that digital channel. And when it comes to app or wallet, for us, has to do with if you're able to put the important information in just the homepage or not. That's it. Probably when we go to fashion, they want a lookbook, so they tend to build an app. But in different businesses, maybe insurance, you definitely can go with a wallet.
Yeah.
And I'll definitely just
no, I think it is very industry specific. You're right. We love the idea of an app. There's some really incredible loyalty apps out there in the market. I think quick service restaurants like McDonald's and KFC and so on have done a very great job in leading with an app as the main loyalty engagement option. However, the main challenge that most companies have is trying to convince a consumer to download an app is increasingly difficult. They need to really see that there's going to be a lot of value for them in doing so. Everyone already has way too many apps on their phone. So if you're structuring it so that in order to join the loyalty program, they have to download an app and register, that's an immediate barrier to them entering and creating that relationship. And we typically see that companies that lead with an app-only approach have a much lower registration and acquisition rate than companies that provide consumers with a wide range of different ways that they can join. So for most of our clients, we recommend providing a variety of ways to engage with the program, not just an app, because that increases the engagement rate. And it's really one of the principles that most customers are looking for is don't tell me how to engage, let me decide how I want to engage with you, which means providing a range of channels for them to then decide what works best for them.
Okay. Also has to do with the age of the customers.
Yeah.
No, that's like the young people, but there's the elder people, and as Phil said, providing a variety, I think that's the key of the success.
Okay, imagine we are on a brand, we have a strategy defined, we have to choose a platform.
Yeah.
What's important to consider when a brand has to choose a technological platform to support their loyalty programs? What's important?
Yeah, you can start with that one.
I think probably before the technology, it comes first the strategy. Mm-hmm. Definitely the business plan is super important and the investment you're going to make. And once you do that, you realize that the platform is an enabler. And for me, it has to be complete and flexible because it's going to be a decision that you're going to make probably for the next 3-5 years. So you don't need just to think in what's going on today, but also what's going to happen in some years' time once this amazing world evolves. And right now, I think that nobody can really foresee exactly what's going to happen. So you need this kind of flexibility and definitely a team that helps you boost what you have today, but also what's going to come in the coming years.
Yeah, I think companies are very spoiled in this day and age because platforms like Loyal Guru have enormous amounts of flexibility and capability within them. So if a company comes up with a design for their program, then almost certainly everything's going to be able to be delivered out of the box, which means that they don't have any concerns about the platform not being able to do something and having to do development. But as Borja had said, we always recommend to our clients start with developing the strategy and then do good quality project documentation, so a comprehensive detailed design which maps out all the customer journeys, a good set of business and technical requirements, a architecture diagram that shows the integration points and API documentation, which means when it does come time to talk with the platform provider, they've got a very comprehensive brief in terms of what they need to deliver, which will save everyone a lot of time and a lot of money.
Understood. Okay, another important point I want to ask you.
Yeah.
Investments. Which is the level of investments that a brand realistically needs to launch a loyalty program? What do they have to think about?
Yeah, so obviously engaging consultants to do a good quality design is really important. So you're looking at around a 3-month process to do the design and all the documentation, doing the full commercial model, the lifecycle management strategy, everything that's required to be set up for a successful implementation. Implementation can then be 3 to 6 months to get everything in place and launched. All the testing, the platform licensing fees, integration costs, everything that is required there. And then once you move into operations, you then need a loyalty team and of course the cost of the rewards as well. So it is, it can be a sizable investment. I think companies need to be realistic about what it would cost to do it and do some early commercial modeling to understand the cost benefit outcome. We work with a lot of our prospects and clients to do some initial cost benefit analysis for them so that they can get a sense of what the investment would be and what the upside potential might be based on their revenue and their margin and the types of rewards that they might have available to them so that they can see whether it's going to make sense for them or not.
I totally agree. And actually, this has to do a lot to do with best practices in the end, because once you size the investment and the upside that the loyalty platform is going to come, it's not it's very easy to earn money in an Excel file, but you definitely need experts that have been there and done that. Actually, as it's an evolving market, it's very important. These experts have to be worldwide. Let's say experts not tapping in different kind of projects to really match what Phil was saying before.
Yeah. And with this such amount of investment needed, how do you convince a CFO how we are going to measure the return on the investment? Which are the key KPIs to measure?
Yeah, it's a really great question. Most loyalty managers around the world are really struggling to answer this. In fact, we spend a lot of time talking with people that run loyalty programs, and by our estimate, around 65% of loyalty program managers cannot demonstrate the return on investment for their loyalty program. It's because they've not put in the analytics framework to be able to do that measurement in a comprehensive way, and they're really struggling to figure out how to do it. So we're working with a lot of clients to help them measure the ROI of their program, and also when we're designing and implementing a program, putting in an ROI measurement framework to enable them to do that moving forward as well. I think in terms of KPIs, it's everything that I talked about before across acquisition, spend, retention. They're probably the big measurements, and obviously a whole heap of smaller KPIs sitting underneath that as well. But it's an area that the loyalty industry needs to put a lot more focus on.
I couldn't agree more. It's probably the elephant in the room, what we can say about the loyalty. I think that really having a great platform that really ties how you earn and how you burn, and really ties and provides the data to have the analytics, it's key. And on top of that, I think that it's out of question that personalization is more profitable than just providing the same for everyone. Here it's about how you just build your strategy and you're able to just track what's going on, and then if you just build the strategy and track it, that's going to work.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, I come to the last question. If I ask you one piece of advice to a CMO or a CIO that it's just about to launch a loyalty program,
Yeah.
which advice would you give them?
My advice would be continue investing in it, because the loyalty program doesn't stop when it's launched. That's actually the beginning of the journey. What the advice that we provide our customers is, don't launch a loyalty program, launch a framework that can have elements that can be swapped in and out, and get a sense of what customers are responding to, and then do more of what is working, do less of what is not working, so that the actual program can evolve over time. And in 1 to 2 years, you'll have your program.
And your advice?
I would say talk to us, because I think I totally agree with what Phil is proposing, but probably it's about iteration and being relevant, and that's it. If you're able to track what you're doing, you know the KPIs, you can understand what's working, what's not, iterate, be relevant.
Thank you very much. It has been a pleasure for me to be on St. Valentine's Day with the most loyal guys worldwide. So it's a pleasure, and hope to see you soon.
Thank you.
Take
I've
care.
really enjoyed my date. Thank you so much.
Me too.
Thank you.